All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, right? Which he is the most high God, Yahweh, and his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. He delivers, right? Which who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Ba'asham, in the name of the Rakah Kodash, which is the Holy Spirit or Spirit Holy, right? Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim and the Four Winds preaching truth, right? And sincerity, reaching the elect. And the Four Winds, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel. And you have come back to the fold, Shalom. To the sister Akwaf, listening silent, Shalom. This your brother Aram Yahawada with the lesson. And one of the brothers had posted this guy from Angry Preppers. I don't know the guy's name. I just know that he's a married man to a woman. You know, he believes in being a man with a woman, and he's a firefighter, and he's in New York, so he's really connected to, like the shirt he's wearing is a 9/11 shirt, so he's really in tune with Babylon, right? So the thing I wanted to just say is he says something along the line that he hates to admit that the Israelites were right. He hated, and he repeated it, that he hated it, right? So I'm gonna give you a chance to watch it. I'm just gonna say this right here real quick. I'm gonna go through a couple of scriptures because you know why people hate it, really, right? Because ultimately they're connected to their oppressor, they're connected to their wickedness, and they really don't want to depart from from their wickedness or their oppressor, right? So with all that, go through a couple scriptures and I'll play this video for you. So this is John chapter 3 verse 17. For Yahweh sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, right? Because Yahweh Shai didn't, when he came, he didn't really judge, and people take that as if he didn't judge, so when he died on the cross, it did away with the law. No, pay attention to the scriptures, right? He didn't judge because it wasn't his time to judge. It says when he comes back, the second coming is when he's going to judge, and he's going to judge according to the law, though they tell you the law's done away with, right? And it says, but that the world through him might be saved. And what world is that? The world, Israel, the Israelites. And technically, it's just the elect. It's for all Israel, but at the same time, it's just for the elect. Because the Lord will want all of Israel to be saved, but what do all of Israel don't really want to be saved, right? So the Lord knew that it was going to be a remnant, but he also prophesied that it would be a remnant. He that believeth on him is not condemned. So who believeth in Yahweh, right? Ba'asham, in the name Yahweh Shai, which is the son he who delivers, because that's how you be saved, by being delivered, right? But he that believeth not is condemned already, And a lot of Israel didn't believe. Like even Yahushua didn't do many works or miracles in his own hometown. And that's why he said that a prophet is not respected in his home or in his hometown, right? Because you got these silly things you done. You tripped over a rock and people laughed, and you looked at clumsy or something like that. So people preconceived judge you on certain small little things when no person is perfect. But if you're doing perfect works, then that would make you perfect on another level, which is greater. Which, like the Lord said, I'm from above, and you're from right here on earth. You're just carnal. I'm coming with the spiritual mind and the mind of the kingdom that's going to last forever and ever and ever. And you're just some man, right? But you're trying to hold on to it. So you're going to be condemned already, right? Because people think the law is done away with. No, but if you don't believe in the law, you're condemned already. If you don't believe in his son, you're condemned already. Because he have not believed in the name, right? Oh, speaking of Nate, Yo Play Yogurt, someone poison him, right? Of the only begotten Son of Yahweh. And this is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil, right? And that's really ultimately what a lot of people, when they say they hate to admit, oh my God, I hate to admit the Israelites were right. It's really because they love the darkness, right? Yeah, this is Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 6. Thy inhabitation is in the midst of deceit. And right now, in America, you're being told one thing and then they're doing another. Even the guy was speaking about that. First it was no mask. Then it was you got to wear it. Then it was you only needed one time to be a pincushion, and then now you needed a second one. Now you need a booster. Now you need this. So they tell you one thing and then there's another. So it's a lot of deceit, right? Little Biden, looking decrepit, looked like he wasn't going to be a tyrant. And he goes in there, this little innocent looking decrepit man, and he is basically Satan, right? Through deceit, they refuse to know me, right? And like dude basically goes into, he seen these type of things before from the Israelites, but he wanted to believe in the American system. He wanted to be like Cornelius's father, right? Right? They refuse to know Yahweh, right? Refuse to know me, saith Yahweh. Bashem Yahweh Shai. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai of hosts, which means armies. Behold, which means feast your eyes upon, pay attention. I will melt them, right? And you know what's coming. The ICBM missiles, right? And try them, for how shall I do for the daughter of my people, right? Because what's coming up? The hour of temptation, where every man is tried, right? Yeah, this is Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. Because thus has kept the word of my patience, right? Dealing with the Israelites, dealing with the elect, right? I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, right? Because that's the thing that's coming, which shall come upon all the world, right? To try them, right? That's the thing that's coming. To try them that dwell upon the earth. So how can he do it? For the daughter of his people, he shall try them, right? Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast to that. Hold fast, which thus has that no man take thy crown, right? Because a lot of these people want to be attached to this system, and now they want to unattach to this system, but it's basically too late. You know what I mean? So now they want to believe, because you can see the hour of temptation coming upon the world, and now they're starting to believe. They're like, wait a minute, these dudes been saying this, but it was like, that'll never happen. That'll never happen. Now we're here. He's like, oh, wait, those Israelites were right. So.
But, guys, listen. It's a shame where this is going, but unfortunately, this needed to happen. So everything that's happening now, the breakdown of the country, the fucking constant bitterness, the division, all of this shit needed to happen. It was supposed to happen. This was written for us a long time ago. And though when I was a kid, I really didn't subscribe to it or believe it, but now I'm starting to believe it. And believe it or not, guys, here's the fucked up shit. And I hate to admit to this, but the Israelites, right? Those are the guys that used to hang out on 42nd Street. They used to scream at white people, "You white devil," and like run around with the devil horns, and "You fucking white people fucked us over." But they used to stop yelling at white people for like 5 minutes, and they used to talk about the mark of the beast and all sort of crazy shit that is happening now. That being said, these same guys who hated white men read a white guy's book called Behold the Pale White Horse, or Behold the Pale Horse, right? They read this book, and they were saying that shit. And in that book, it said the same thing. Guys, it's just insane how the people we ignored, who were standing on the street corner with their signs about the end is near, or some crazy shit was going to happen, we ignored them. We ignored the Israelites, who, listen, again, I don't subscribe to them. I don't. But for everything they said when I was a kid, it's coming true.
Says not long after the king sent a old man. So the king of what? Greece, right? And to prove that that's the king of Greece, is gonna say it. Sent an old man of Athens, right? Athens is in Greece, to compel the Jews to depart from the law, right? Because this is how Timothy's father was an Israelite who subscribed to being a Greek, or he just grew up thinking he was Greek, or he knew he was a Jew but rather call himself a Greek because of the so-called benefits behind it at the particular time. Kind of like this guy, like I was saying, shaved face, he's a firefighter, he's holding on to this, So, to depart from the laws of their fathers, which are the laws of Moses, right? That's why the churches tell you the laws are done away with, and not to live after the laws of Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai, and to pollute also the to pollute also the temple in Jerusalem, and to call it the temple of Jupiter Olympus, right? So that's why when you're watching the Olympics, that's basically what that is. You're celebrating another god, the Olympus, Jupiter Olympus god, right? And that in Golzum of Jupiter, right? And this is what they teach you in church. The defender of strangers. That's why their whole thing is the strangers. Whoa. Right here, this is Gentile. See, it says Gentile. Yeah, but Israelites are called Gentiles too. Israelites were called strangers. Even when you go into the Old Testament, there were Israelites that were called strangers, right? But they're using that thing to be like, oh, it's just some strange mother that just walked up. And you, oh yeah, you know what? You can get the promises of God. You just showed up yesterday? Oh, okay. No. You know what I'm saying? Defender of strangers, as they did desire that dwell in the place. So I'm gonna skip down to 6 right here. 2 Maccabees 2:6. Neither was it lawful, right? Because that king, the king of Greece, made it illegal. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days, right? Which is called what? That's part of the laws of God, of Yahweh, to keep the Sabbath days. So he said, do away with the laws. Do not keep the laws of your fathers. Do not keep the laws of God. So do away with the Sabbath days or ancient feast, or to proclaim himself at all to be a Jew. So this is why Timothy's father was basically a Greek, or this is why you commonly see Gentile, and we're telling you that it has to do with their Israelite foreigners who may look like a natural Jew or maybe not, but their bloodline goes back to Israel, so they're Israelites, right? So, you know, and some people get attached to this system, to Babylon, right? Or at that time was Greece. This is like spiritual Greece and Rome and Babylon and Egypt, right? Then came he to Derbe and Lystra, right? He is Paul, the apostle. The apostle Paul, later on, he became the apostle Paul because he was Saul, and the Lord changed his name to Paul, right? And behold, a certain disciple, which means student, right, was there named Timotheus, right? And in order for him to be a student, he was there amongst the other Jews. So he was a Jew, right? The son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess and believed, right? And the crazy thing I just thought of about so-called the Christian world is the so-called Jewish, which are imposters, will say that you're a Jew according to your mother, but somehow they will use this right here. But his father was a Greek. But they'll use this as his father being a Greek, saying that everybody can make it now. Well, see, Timotheus' father was a Greek, so that means everybody else can be saved. But I thought you said through your custom, the only way you could be a Jew is through the mother. So they're saying that the mother is a Jew. So how would that include other people. See, which proved that they know that it's through the Father. So his father is not a natural Greek. He's a Hellenized Greek. He's a Jew who prescribed to the Greek customs, right? Because that proves why Timotheus was a disciple amongst other Jews, because these are the Jews that didn't like basically Gentiles amongst them, right? Even when the Lord came, the lady at the well. Well, how are you speaking to me, being that you're a Jew, when you guys don't have no dealing with us? Why? Because she was a heathen, right? Right. So it says, which was well reported by the brethren. What brethren? The brethren that were actual Jews raised from, being circumcised from the 8th day of being born, keeping the customs, Purim, feast, tabernacles, Passover. They've been doing it their entire life, right? Here it is. Timothy has not been doing it his whole life. He's coming into the fold at Latrias and Iconium, right? Him with Paul, right? The Apostle Paul have to go forth with him and took and circumcised him, right? According to what? The laws that God gave to Abraham, that all his children throughout their generations, which means his children's children, grandchildren, great, as long as they are on the planet, must be circumcised. So he circumcised them according to the law that God gave Abraham. And Abraham didn't give that law. God didn't give that law that he gave to Abraham to all the different nations, because people would use that as look, it says right here that if a stranger come amongst you, that stranger was actually talking about Israelites, right? And that thing, when it comes to circumcising, yes, you could circumcise your slaves because that slave is underneath your house. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, when your mom say, you live under my house, you're gonna go by my rules, right? Same principle. If you live under this house, I think is it Jeremiah that said that too? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. For as me and my house, everyone's going to be circumcised according to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Every male shall be circumcised. That's it. It doesn't have to do with you being some foreigner who could come to the covenant and get all of a sudden, because you trying to keep the laws, now you get salvation, you get heaven, you can get this gold and silver and a beautiful lifestyle when you had nothing to do with this. Your fathers don't go back to this. Your fathers and the fathers who walked through the sea with Moses. So no. And you could go talk about the mixed multitude, but the mixed multitude got killed in the wilderness. The Lord destroyed them. The mixed multitude never walked into the promised land. When it was time, after the 40 years of walking around, there was no mixed multitude that went into the promised land with them to establish Jerusalem, right? So to keep going, right? And he took and circumcised him before the Jews, right? Because they kept talking about it. Oh, this guy, he's one of those Greeks. He's one of them Hellenized. Nah, we don't like him. So he wanted to make sure he circumcised in front of them to say, look, this dude is now circumcised. Now y'all can't talk that stuff, because he's not, even though his name is Timotheus, he's coming to our customs to do things the way it was meant to be done from the beginning, but because he's coming back, right, like a child, because the Lord said, what, except you be as one of these little ones, shall none of you enter into the kingdom of heaven. So basically, you have to be born again. You have to be retaught. So Timotheus had to do something that you normally would do as a baby, right? And the 8th day as a baby, you would get circumcised. So now he had to be circumcised as a grown man in order to come basically fully into the thing, right? And that's why it says because of the Jews, because like circumcise him because of the Jews, because they were just complaining, running their mouth, which were in those quarters, for they knew all that his father was a Greek, right? He was one of them ones that believed, like here, like in American customs, and never circumcised their children, because there's a lot of you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians that never circumcise your children because you're going along with the American customs, right? And then those that did know, after a while, even Access doesn't cover it. Access no longer covers circumcision. You have to pay for that out of pocket. Before, that was actually something they did because they were trying to, at one time, this country did some of the things that were in the Bible. But the more and more this country gets wicked, the more they step away from the Bible, which it was never for them to do. But nevertheless, they did it. It says, and as they went through the cities, they delivered them the decrees for to keep that ordinance, right? Going back to, like I said, to Abraham, that's what was ordinance of the apostles and the elders which were at Jerusalem, because the apostle Peter was a apostle to the Jews, and the apostle Paul was the apostle to the Gentiles, right? So he did it according to the customs that basically Peter would have prescribed to, right? Even though in Acts 10, the Lord showed him a dream that these other men who are Israelite foreigners who didn't know that they were, or did know, but coming back to the fold, coming back to practicing being a practicing Israelite, to not call them uncommon or unclean. So, yeah, this is 1 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 41. Moreover, the king Antiochus wrote, right, kind of like what Biden is doing right now, writing all these laws to his whole kingdom, right, which the so-called self-proclaimed white man, his whole kingdom is the whole world. So they're writing a decree for the whole world to get inoculated, right? Kingdom that all should be one, right? New one, the one world order, new world order, right? And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king, right? And he was the king of Greek, right? Which we're in basically was the Greco-Roman Empire all over again, right? One that had the deadly wound and was healed, right? It says, yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, right? That's their Christianity, you're Muslim, you're Islam, or just you don't believe that there's a God, right? You believe in sports, basketball and football and all these, MMA, anything but following the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Says and sacrificed unto idols, right? Your Roman Catholic Church, which is the mother church of all the other churches, stemming all the way down until your Baptist, your Methodist, your Episcopalian, your Apostolic, whatever you Jehovah Witnesses, whatever you into, that all stems from the Catholic Church, right? So, which is the false prophet. Rome, or the Roman Greco, is the beast, right? And the Catholic Church is the false prophet, right? To give you a false religion. That's what that is. To sacrifice unto idols and to profane the Sabbath for the king, right? Which of Greece at that time, but now we're dealing with the Greco-Roman Empire, which is brought back through the Roman treaty, through NATO, EU, and America, right? What is it? Slovakia. Yeah, for the king sent letters by messenger unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judea, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, which this whole thing right now is a strange law of the land. Before you was an American and you could choose, and you're of the land of the free, and you got the God-given right to do what you want to do no matter what, right? You could be a lesbian, a homosexual, you could do what you want to do. But apparently they could tell you, hey, you got to take this, you got to take that to protect everybody, though you can still catch it and give it to other people, which makes no sense. But strange land. Yeah, strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifices and drink offerings in the temple, that they should profane the Sabbaths and feast days, right? Which the Lord said that we were supposed to do, and which they do that now through these churches. It's okay. The laws are done away with. All the laws are done away with. You could do what you want to do. Which that's basically what they're telling you. You could be a homosexual. You could be a lesbian because the laws are done away with. You can eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. You can murder each other because the laws are done away with. And that's exactly what's happening in America. Murders, killings, thefts, and men wearing dresses and women being butchy. You know what I mean? Right? So, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, right? And now you are the sanctuary. So when that your body is the temple of the Most High, and you're the holy people. Set up altars and groves and chapels, which comes from the Catholic Church, chapels of idols, and that's what the Catholic Church is. It's a chapel of idols, and sacrifice swine, which is pig, which you're not supposed to, you ain't even supposed to touch a pig, let alone sacrifice it, right? Let alone touch it, let alone eat it. Sacrifice swine and unclean beast, that they should leave their children, which is going back to Timotheus, leave their children uncircumcised, which he was a Israelite, but his father, it was against the law, for them to call themselves Jews. So he followed what the king Antiochus and the king that was before him. What was it? Alexander and all the other kings that were before, the kings that were after him, all the way into Antiochus. He's following those customs because this is years later after, what's his name, Alexander, right? Which happens to be an Amalekite, going back to the Agagites, which goes back to the Amalekites, right? Which it is an Edomite. So, so yeah, unclean beasts, that they should leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manners of unclean and profanation. So, this is Proverbs chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand, right? So though you join your hand with their hand, right? Dealing with the Greeks at that time, onto the Roman Greco of old, and to the Roman Greco of now, right? With their technology, right? Though you join in hand with them, the wicked shall not go unpunished, right? And the wicked is Esau, right? Which goes back to Antiochus, back to all the way back up to Alexander the Greek, his father from Macedonia, and Macedonian goes back to the Agagites, and the Agagites go back to the Amalekites, which are Edom, Edom is the border of wickedness. And Malachi chapter 1 verse 4, they are the border of wickedness. So they are the epitome of wickedness. So that's how we know that they are the wicked. The wicked shall not go unpunished, but the seed of the righteous, which are the Israelites, dealing with the elect first, shall be delivered, right? Because for all you other Israelites who follow after the customs of Greek or the Roman Greco Empire, which was then, and in the ancient Roman Greco Empire and the modern day Roman Greco Empire, which is also spiritually Sodom and Egypt, right? Which is, America, EU, NATO. They're all basically Sodom and Egypt, but mainly America, because they put that to the height of it. That's why you got a pyramid on the back of your dollar bill, right? As a jewel, right? Because one of the things the Lord called us as the Israelites or Jews, they call us jewelry. So as jewels of gold in a swine's snout, right? And we're not even supposed to touch a pig, but you were making sacrifices unto these swines in that day, and then some of you still are, in a sense, right? Pastor Pork Chop tell you something, and you obey. You know what I mean? You go sit in church. He read 3 verses. Y'all do a bunch of singing, and then you go home and go eat a slab of ribs. You know what I mean? And say, yeah, that lesson was good. You know what I mean? You go home, eat a nice big pork chop. Pork chop with some gravy and some sauteed onions with, you know what I'm saying, with some in the gravy, and you think you're doing something, right? But that's abominable to the Lord. So as a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, right? So is the fair woman, right? And the Lord said that Israel is likened to a comely and delicate woman, right? Which is without discretion. So a comely and delicate woman has what? Discretion. And you have no discretion because what? You could do whatever you want to do. You could be a homosexual. You could be a lesbian. All the laws are done away with. You can eat pork. You can eat shrimp. You can eat crab. You can eat lobster. And then ultimately, you hate that the Israelites are right. Call law Yom Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai Bashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, the elders in Connecticut, to the Israelite foreigners to the Israelites around the world preaching the truth in sincerity, the hopeful elect, the elect, shalom, to the Israelite foreigners now, right, who phenotype may look like another nation, and you have come back to the fold, and now you are practicing Israelites like Timotheus, right? Shalom to the sister Aquaf, listen in silence. Shalom, death to America.